Are you tired of being weighed down? Have you fallen asleep on your health? This is your wake up call with my dad, Keith, my husband, Kyle, and me, Ashley.
Good morning. It is 6:30 in the morning. It is day 19, which is crazy. How did everything go yesterday, guys?
Well, it went pretty good for us. As far as our exercising goes, we were able to get back down to the track yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
And got a couple of miles in.
All right. Well, yesterday, for me, I was pretty nonstop at work. We did our podcast yesterday. I left and I had appointments. Pretty much, bless you.
Thank you.
Had appointments pretty much all day yesterday, so I stayed on my feet pretty much all morning. Ate a good decent lunch. Then last night, I went and saw bless you.
Thank you.
I saw Marvel Infinity War and Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, and
Jealous.
that was.
We'll go again when we see you in a couple of weeks.
Trust me, I'm gonna have to see it. I'm gonna have to see it.
I mean, I didn't go to last night, but we'll go with you.
I'm gonna have to see it about 2 more times to process everything. So, but going to the movie theater was rough. I just tried to avert my eyes from the concession stand. And
you can't block the smell, though.
You're right. And they were popping some fresh popcorn when I went there.
Of course.
So I just had to kind of ignore that. We had Subway for dinner last night. Had some sandwiches.
I didn't get dinner fixed in time for Kyle to make it to the movie because I got too excited to post on social media that we were releasing our podcast yesterday. So by the time I got all that posted, Kyle was almost home, and I was like, well,
we'll just go grab a sandwich.
We've got a Subway gift card, so we ate a veggie sub with brown mustard, and I got some sweet onion sauce on mine too. And we drank water, and we didn't put any mayonnaise on it, which was hard. And we didn't eat any potato chips or anything like that. So,
yeah.
So as far as going to Subway, we did pretty much the best we've ever done. Yeah.
The best we could with what we had. And I went with a vinaigrette on there, but I went full load on the vegetables. I went every vegetable I could get. I actually skipped the jalapenos, but I went full on. But no, I mean, it was. I was really excited for the movie, so I was trying to focus on that as much as possible. And honestly, I didn't really miss the popcorn. Like I said, I was just focused on the movie. So Ashley spent her time a little bit different last night.
Well, I didn't go to the movie because I knew I would not be strong enough to not get any popcorn. Just sitting there smelling it, and I knew I wouldn't do well. And I'm gonna be honest, when I go to the movie, it's probably like 60% popcorn and 40% movie is what I go for. Popcorn's like a little bit greater in percentage and why I want to go to the movie, which is sad, but it's true. So, and if it's a movie that I don't really care to see anyway, my mindset's always been like, well, I'll just sit there and eat popcorn, whatever.
All right.
So without that, I didn't really care to go last night, and I figured once we see Timmy in a few weeks, we'd go again anyway, so.
Well, why is popcorn so bad at the movie theater, Ashley? Because I know there are people probably listening to the podcast this morning that are wondering what in the world
There,
is
you know
so
what? There
wrong.
are movie theaters, and ours is included, where the popcorn actually doesn't have real butter on it. It's just oil, so it's technically not. It's not got any animal products, but the problem is that that oil is just bad for you, and it's really gross. The oil that
Well,
they
there's
pop
just a
it in
lot.
is bad,
Yeah.
and also I always get extra butter, which is like oil on top of oil,
Yeah.
and it's very high in sodium, very high in just nasty fat, and it tastes delicious. But and I'm not saying that I'm never going to eat it again. I don't think that's the case at all. Like, I'll probably go sometime later and maybe just eat a small popcorn instead of a large one. But right now, I just need to stay away from it altogether. You know, I can learn more moderation later in my life. Just right now, I don't need it at all.
Yeah, the palm oil that they use is they load it with tons of chemicals. So they color it, so it's got
Yeah,
some yellow.
if it's not butter, it's not yellow. But I
Yeah.
mean, if it's not butter, but it is yellow, so they're putting something in it.
Well, and
You
here's
know.
what's really crazy too is we've been conditioned to think butter is yellow. Um, butter butter in its true state's usually not yellow.
Hmm.
It is usually pretty white. It may be a little bit of an off-white color, but it generally is.
Excuse me.
Easy now.
Me and Timmy
It,
are battling allergies this morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually kind of an off-white color, but from the popping standpoint, they don't use too much of it, but it's when they add the extra butter on that it really starts to, um, you know, get you. So
Well, like I said, I'm not going to stay away from it forever, probably, but I did not have it in me to go last night not eating any. So anyway, I stayed home. Yesterday I stayed on track with my eating. I probably actually didn't even eat enough yesterday, thinking back. So I didn't eat breakfast, and then for lunch I made myself some banana oatmeal pancakes, and then I had like 2/3 of a sub. Oh, and then I made like 2 red potatoes worth of oven fries. And that's all I ate yesterday, so that probably wasn't enough. But anyway, I've been trying to stay ahead of Mom in this Fitbit thing. And yesterday, she had truck day at work. She works in retail. And so all the new merchandise came in, which means they have to unload the trucks and like start restocking the shelves and all that mess. And so she always gets a lot of steps on that day. Well, she did. She got a lot of steps. And then she told me that y'all wanted to go for a walk yesterday afternoon when she got home from work. So she went for a walk.
Yeah.
And I asked her, and she's bad about not syncing her steps but like once a day. And I think she does that on purpose so I can't see what's happening.
Strategy.
Right. So finally I was like, Mom, how many steps do you have? And she's like, oh, just about 12,000. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a walker. Some of these runners get a whole lot more than that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
12,000
that's a lot
for
for
a walker.
us.
Yes.
Yeah. So yesterday afternoon, I did.
now let's just preface by saying you're not competitive at all. At all. You don't like
stop
you don't enjoy winning. You're okay with losing.
Anyway, what I was saying is yesterday afternoon, I did a walking video and I did like a 1.5 miles, and that gave me like, I think I was still at less than 4,000 steps. I think I was like 3,000 something. And then I went to school for a little while. And then I came home, and then we went out to Subway and I took Kyle to the movie, and then I came home. And Mom, and I sat there and I watched TV for a while, and then finally, about 15 till 9, I thought, well, I better get another walk in. Because I looked on Fitbit, and Mom was like almost 9,000 steps ahead of me. Today's the last day, okay? So she's 9,000 steps ahead of me almost. And so I think, well, I better get at least one more walk in, get a couple thousand in on her, and maybe I can beat her tomorrow. But at this point, it's looking pretty grim. I'm like, oh, probably not going to happen. So I do a 1 mile walk in 13 minutes, and then I'm feeling all right. So I just let YouTube play into the next video. And that video was like a 6-minute interval walk where you jogged for 30 seconds and you walked for 30 seconds for 5 minutes. So I did that. And I was sweating and I was hot, but I was feeling all right. I was still breathing okay. So I let it roll into the next video. And I walked another mile.
Wow.
And at this point, I was not able to do any of like the arm movements or anything crazy. I just kept walking with the beat of the music and was just watching them do all the crazy steps. I think I may have done one more short one after that. I can't remember. At this point, I was just letting the videos play into the next to the next one. I was like, I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. I'm going to keep walking. So I do all these videos, and I look, and she's still like over 3,000 steps ahead of me.
Wow.
So I turn on some music. I turned on that Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton song, Say Something. So it's not a very fast-paced song, but I felt like it had about 4 beats per measure. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, something I could do, and I wasn't like having to work really hard doing it. And so I listened to that song about 4 times, and I walked up and down across the living room at 4 beats. Okay. I did this. I listened to that song like 4 times, literally. And so after all of that, this all added up to an hour and 21 minutes where I never stopped moving, and I walked almost 8,000 steps. So this morning, Mom is only a little over 1,000 steps in front of me.
Showdown.
The gap.
And Kyle got home during my song walking, where I turned on that song, you know. And he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Mom is not going to win. I got to keep going. I got to keep going." And I was like, "My body's probably going to hate me tomorrow, but I got to keep going." So I did.
I really like this song.
Yeah. And then, so by the end of it, when I started this, I was at like 4.7 thousand steps, and I stopped at 12,000 last night. So
that's a big
I
day.
have not sweat like that in years. And I'm a little bit sore this morning. You know what? I'm mostly sore like around my waist, I guess, where I was twisting while I was walking, you know?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Fitbit, after all of this, gives me a notification that says, "Good job on your 35-minute elliptical workout." Because when I was walking to those songs, I was like swinging my arms and twisting my body.
She was not walking, she was marching. It was like elbows were high.
She probably
I
looked
was like 1, 2, 3, 4, like, you know, because that was the beat of the song. And I did that for 30 minutes. Apparently I listened to that song enough to where it added up to like 35 minutes.
Wow.
So I went temporarily insane. And I'm going to let y'all know if I win today. I'm going to try really hard. I'm sure as soon as Mama listens to this, she's going to go walk or do something. So is she working today?
Yeah. She goes in tonight.
Man. Okay. Well, that's all right.
It's still on.
It's still on. Oh, well, sorry, that was a really long story, but I just had to tell y'all how I went temporarily crazy.
Hey, it was a good one.
Yeah, Kyle was at the movie, and I sure did entertain my own self. So,
Hmm.
well, today is Friday Focus, so we can spend a few minutes before we wrap up talking about this. But I found this quote, and it says, "Don't start a diet that has an expiration date. Develop a healthy lifestyle that will last forever." What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Until you shift your mindset about food and how it impacts your life, the cheating is going to be inevitable.
Right.
If you're just on a temporary diet, your mindset is, I mean, you're not setting those foods aside that aren't good for you, and acknowledging that they're not good for you. What you're saying is, hey, I'm gonna do this for a while, and then I'm gonna go back to eating the stuff that I like to eat, or the stuff that I want to eat. I won't say that I like to eat. We kind of fool ourselves to think that we like to eat them, because we haven't experienced life without them. But we don't put those things aside. We just kind of push. We don't put those things away. We just push them to the side. So it's kind of like, hey, this is a temporary thing. This is not permanent. And your goal, a lot of times when you have that mindset, is I'm going to eat like this for a little bit, and then I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm going to do that so I can do whatever I want. And the problem with that is you're just going to end up doing whatever you want before that time comes. Because given the chance, it allows you to cheat a little bit more.
Well, until you get rid of this term diet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as the connotation that it carries with us, then you're never going to have any long-term success.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's got to just change into what you just said, lifestyle, and it's just what you do every day, and you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lost better than 100 pounds over the last 7 or 8 years, and you know, kept it off. So prior to that, I probably have lost better than 80 pounds probably 3 or 4 times during my lifetime. But I always did it, you know, with a diet. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last time I lost over 100 pounds, I ate rice every day, you know, at lunch. I'd have one of those big containers from the Chinese place across the street from where I worked. I had rice every day. And that, you know, that worked. You know, I got the weight off, but when I started eating, you know, hamburgers again, it came right back, and it came back quicker than how it came off.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we started plant-based stuff, I'm gonna say, what, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and I think we went a year without any animal products, and you know, then kind of relaxed after that, but not to the point where, you know, where we gained weight.
Right.
You know, I'd have a hamburger when I wanted it or whatever, but I still, for the most part, you know, 85% of my diet was plant based.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've maintained over the course of time. My weight hadn't fluctuated much in the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't get up every morning and think, you know, I'm on this diet,
Right.
you know, and I'm confined where I can't eat what I want to eat. I've just, you know, eventually it becomes habit, and then it's lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think the longest Kyle and I have gone plant-based was actually 2017. We went from like the second week of July all the way through Christmas, and we maybe had meat 2 or 3 times in that span of however many months that is. And we lost some weight, but we weren't staying away from processed things, and we're eating some of those fake meats, and we had a lot of pasta and refined carbs, and so we had some progress, but it was not all that fast or all that great. And even before that, yeah, it has been about 3 years since we tried it for the first time. I think the first time we went like a month just to, see if we could do it. And then, but I would say that we have at least spent 70% of the last 3 years plant-based, because I have rarely brought meat back in the house since then. If I've eaten it, it's been where we've been eating out or I've been somewhere else. I probably have cooked meat a handful of times in the last 3 years in our house. And so I'm sure some of you have been listening to us and thinking, well, how are they talking like this? How they just started this journey. How do they even know the effects of a plant-based diet? Well, we know the effects because we've done it enough to know that we feel better, that we make progress if we're eating the right way. Excuse me. We just have not stuck to it. We've kept slipping back into the hamburgers.
Well, and I think part of that is because it's that commitment of the lifestyle. It is making the conscious
That's a huge
decision,
commitment.
Like, this is not just this is the way I'm going to eat. Or here's what I think a lot of people go wrong. They think when they hear diet, they think I've got to eat this way. I don't want to eat this. There's negative energy around the word diet.
Right.
So it's like I've got to eat this way.
I can't.
Right. I can't eat this, or I can't do this. And there are times that I just say, I'm not able to eat this. When we went to the steakhouse the other night, well, I'm not able to. I got to figure out what I can eat, which was a little bit of a shift in terminology. Instead of saying I can't eat this or I can't eat this.
Yeah, I started saying I'm not eating that right now, because if you put the choice back in your hands, yeah, it's your choice to go on whatever diet. But if you're sitting there, you're right. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, I can't have that hamburger, it makes you want it more. Yeah. It makes you want it more. But if you sit there and you say, well, I'm making the choice to not have this burger, and that's just how it is. So if you say, I'm not going to do that, then it makes it a little bit easier on your brain, I think.
Some of that is some psychological theory called scarcity theory that basically talks about how we're hardwired. The things that are the hardest to find are often the things that we want the most. Right. Or the things that we're restricted from, or the things and that kind of goes back. I agree
with that. Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands, or thousands of years, where in times of famine, people protect the things that are scarce. So if you're making the conscious decision not to have something, and you're saying I can't have that, it makes you want it so much more. Whereas for us, I think we're moving into this point where I'm personally like, I choose not to eat that. I can't.
And we know how it makes us feel too when we've been plant-based for a while and then we've gone back. It does, like, I don't feel good. I can tell almost immediately when I eat something that's not good for me now. Yeah. My body lets me know.
Yep.
And my body has probably always let me know that what I was eating wasn't good, but I was just so used to not feeling good that it was just like, well, this is just how I feel. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I get a headache every night before bed, or, that's just my life. That's just how I feel. Well, guys, the case is that you might have some food intolerances where it comes to dairy and meat that you don't even realize you have because you've never been off of it your whole life. Mm-hmm. And it might take just trying to see, well, if I stop eating this for a while, how does it make me feel? And as soon as you start eating it again and you feel bad, okay, that's a food that does not, need to be in my body anymore.
Yeah, it's a change. It's a change in mindset. When you start to change the way that you think, you change the way that you act. When you change the way that you act, you see it has repercussions on your life. When you see the positive effects that it has, it doesn't become a negative anymore. And so many people focus on the negative when it comes to their diet.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality, if they just commit and make the choice to make it part of their lifestyle, then it takes your identity changes, and then as your identity changes, you associate yourself with different foods.
And I hate how America has changed the word diet to mean a program of a way of eating, like when you're trying to lose weight, instead of what the word actually means. A diet just means what you're eating.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard for me to even say plant-based diet, because then people think, oh, this must be just a program they're on, and they'll go back to eating eventually the way they used to. And because the word diet in America means something you do to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I really hate that.
Company XYZ, company that you order food from, they send it to you, and you just eat it. And you hate it, but you eat it because you're paying for it.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, I love what I'm eating right now. Like even just trying to think about the way that I ate before, what I'm eating now with the way that I feel now, I'm okay with it because I'm in a better place, and I have to do things that make me better. I can't do things that make me worse. It's long-term payoff versus short-term, and really, it's even just short-term payoff. I mean, we're not 19 days in, and you know, I've dropped 20 pounds, and I'm fitting in shirts that I was stretching at the buttons. I mean, I was about to pop. I was getting ready to have to move up another size in shirts because I had swelled out so much. And now, you know, I've got an extra inch or two already just in the waist and all the shirts that I wear. So, you know, you start to see positive effects. It makes it so much easier. But, hey, guys, we've been talking for a while. Leave us your thoughts. We want to hear what you think. What are you doing to change your lifestyle? Or, you know, what about dieting is rough for you? If you go over to our Facebook or our Instagram at Our Heavy House, and you can leave those, you know, you can direct message us or you can post something on our wall on Facebook. We'd love to just, you know, we want to start a dialogue. Our goal and intention is not to push this on anybody, but we want to show you the positive effects of what we're doing and how it works. And we want to have conversation with you about it. It's a learning process. It doesn't happen overnight. So jump over to our social media. You can follow us there. You can also check out Ashley's Instagram at My Plant Based Diary.
It's called My Plant Food Diary.
My Plant Food Diary. See, My Plant Food Diary. I always get that messed up. All right. My Plant Food Diary. You can go check
and
her
don't
stuff
forget
out.
to subscribe so you can listen to us
subscribe
every day.
to our podcast so you can check us out every day. We're going to be doing this for 365 days, a whole year. We may even go 366 just to cover a leap year. But
me.
So make sure you subscribe. And guys, we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be day 20. It's crazy to think about.
Day
We
20.
are 2/3 of the way through this month. And you know, we're almost 1/12 of the way through our journey. But we're so glad to have you guys here. Thank you so much for listening. Go out and kill it today. Have a great day.
Goodbye, friends.